Okay, guys, and we're back with another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Morrison podcast, and this is episode 65 of my side quest. Now, in this episode, we're going to be talking about the recent news that Kenzie Morrison has recently signed with BKFC. Now, if the last name Morrison sounds familiar, it's because he's the son of former heavyweight world champion boxer Tommy Morrison. Now, Tommy Morrison's, he's passed away, drug addict, all these things, etc., etc. But his son, Kenzie Morrison, is also a heavyweight boxer. He's now 34. He holds a boxing record of 20 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws. And of his 20 wins, 18 were by knockout. So, to be fair, he's got a decent sort of resume on him. The only guy I recognise is Hasim Rahman Jr., who he beat by TKO in April 2022 for the US NBC heavyweight belt. That's the only name on his record that I recognise, and he beat him. So, and Hasim Rahman was unbeaten at the time, if I'm correct. But yeah, heavyweight, he's a legend. His dad was a legend. He's not a legend. Kenzie Morrison is not a legend, but his dad is a heavyweight boxing legend. Kenzie Morrison boxes at heavyweight too. He's 6'4" and he's 34 years of age. Like I said, he's got a good size to him. He clearly can bang. He's got 18 knockouts in 20 wins. He can clearly bang, right? So I'd be interested to see what happens when he goes to BKFC. I'm thinking of their top heavyweights, Mark Hunt, Ben Rothwell. The thing with bare knuckle is, of course, there's some skill involved, but there's way less skill involved because there's no gloves to sort of there's no finesse to it. Is what I'm trying to say. There's no finesse to bare knuckle boxing. It's like you wing some shots. If you land on a guy, you can cut him open. You can easily rock him. You can swell his eye up, bust his lip, break his nose. You can do a lot of damage with not very many shots, which is what the problem with bare knuckle boxing is, in my opinion. Just so dangerous, bro. So many cuts. You see these people after their bare knuckle boxing fights, and their faces are just butchered. Which is why you'll never see me do a bare knuckle boxing match, no matter how much money I get offered. I will never do that. But clearly, there is an amount that you can offer Kenzie Morrison to fight in bare knuckle boxing, and BKFC have clearly done that. And he looks like he's going to be fighting at heavyweight at BKFC. Like I said, if you're betting on bare knuckle boxing, give your head a wobble. If you're gonna be betting on Kenzie Morrison to win a bare knuckle boxing match, I wouldn't say don't do it because, like I see, in terms of heavyweights and comparing him to Ben Rothwell and Mark Hunt, he's a lot younger than those guys. But there's something about these sort of UFC, like these MMA bums that are like so past their prime. There's something about them they just do so well in bare knuckle. I think of Ben Rothwell. This guy was cooked in the UFC. Dude was cooked. He was bad, especially towards the end, which is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about when he was young. I'm talking about towards the end. Dude was bad, right? Mark Hunt, same thing. Mark Hunt was never amazing throughout his career. He was a big puncher, but in terms of athletic ability, in terms of anything outside of a right hand, he was quite bad. Mike Perry, the same thing. He came onto the MMA scene a while ago, burst onto the scene, big character, a few good wins, but again, when it came down to it, you saw this guy doesn't really have much to him. Like, he's a good athlete, which is more than I can say for Ben Rothwell and Mark Hunt. He's a good athlete, but can he wrestle? Not really. Striking techniques, not really anything good, not anything amazing. He can hit hard because he's a good athlete, but outside of that, same thing. Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy Stevens now, he's a bit different because he did have a lengthy UFC career where he was ranked for a long time, but even towards the end, he was probably struggling to consistently be ranked and consistently beat ranked guys. And then he's out of the UFC and he's gone to bare knuckle. And the four guys who I've just named are guys who have done stuff in bare knuckle boxing. And if you're looking off their last couple of UFC fights, you'd think these guys are absolutely cooked. But they go to bare knuckle and they make something of themselves. So maybe Kenzie Morrison can do the same. Obviously, Kenzie Morrison's coming into this with a much higher boxing pedigree than the likes of Ben Rothwell. And Ben Rothwell's their current heavyweight champion, I believe, at bare knuckle boxing. So we'll see. We'll see. It's an interesting move. Son of a legend, making a name in his own right. 18 knockouts in 20 wins is serious. Don't let anyone tell you it's not. That's a serious record. This dude can clearly bang. But yeah, we'll see what's next for Kenzie Morrison, and we'll see what's next in the bare knuckle boxing space. It's an interesting space. Like I said, it's a very interesting space with a lot of, how I'll say, interesting characters. I'll put it. But yeah, that's it from me. Another side quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.